You know, for once, I hope the saying that everything's bigger in Texas is wrong. I'm your host Youssef, and these are 10 scary Texas urban legends that will terrify you. Make sure you subscribe and ring that bell to get notified whenever we upload a new video. Anyways, let's ride on down. Number 10. The Candy Lady. In the early 1900s, people in the rural town of Terrell, Texas started to go missing. Some of the residents blamed it on the Candy Lady, the story that says that she would go around leaving candy on people's home windows just before bedtime. As the parents began to fall asleep, it'll encourage the people to get the candy, but as they try to grab it, Candy Lady grabs them and feasts on their sugar-laden blood until there isn't any left. A farmer allegedly found rotten teeth on his farm and later found the body of a boy with his pockets stuffed with candy. Many believe the Candy Lady is real and went by the name of Clara Crane. Clara Crane was accused of poisoning her husband back in 1895 with poison-laced caramel candies, but that's not all. 5 years before that incident, Crane's daughter passed away from unknown causes, which many people believe that she poisoned her daughter as well. Number 9. La Llorona. This legend originates from El Paso, Texas. Almost all Latin cultures know of the story of La Llorona. La Llorona directly translates to the weeping woman, which perfectly describes the behavior of this malevolent spirit. She is said to haunt the riverbanks of the Rio Grande, where she is searching for her two people whom she had already drowned in the river. The legend goes that a lady found her boyfriend with another woman. After a heated argument between the two, the woman was heartbroken and wanted to get revenge. So she took their offspring and proceeded to drown them in the Rio Grande in Texas. It's also said that when she was done throwing her offspring into the river, she went back to the lover's home with a bloody wedding gown, showing him she'd do whatever it takes to be with him. It's said to be the reason for the many people disappearances in the area. She supposedly takes other people to fill the void she lost. So if you're in the area, beware of a woman in a wedding gown who is sitting and weeping by the Rio Grande. Number 8. El Cucuy. This creature is known as South Texas's official boogeyman. There are many versions of the El Cucuy since it also originates in Mexico as well. It's said that this monster kidnaps people who misbehave and takes them back to the mountains where he lives and devours them. He appears as a hairless creature with an enormous head that dwarfs the spider-like body he has. He also has large glowing red eyes, red ears to hear everything, razor-sharp fangs and claws sharp enough to easily cut flesh. The origin of El Cucuy goes that a man was suffering with tuberculosis. Desperate to cure himself, he fetched an African witch doctor. The doctor told him to drink someone's blood, but as he did, he started to turn into the monster described. Ever since, he has a never-ending thirst for people's blood. Number 7. Screaming Bridge. In North Arlington, Texas, 50 years ago, there was a group of teenage girls driving home from a football game. The bridge was designed to only fit one car through at a time. I know, what a dumb bridge, but this was in the past. I'll just give them the benefit of the doubt. The girls weren't paying attention and went full speed over the bridge until a car with no headlights on struck them head on, with all girls passing away. Some say that when they go near the bridge, they can hear distant screams sounding like the screams of the girls before they passed away. As well, if you go over to the bridge and look down at the water below, you can see the tombstones of all girls with their names and birthdays. Number 6. Goatman's Bridge. Why are there so many haunted bridges? I don't get it. But in Denton County, Texas lies the Goatman's Bridge, which was built in 1884. This bridge is supposedly haunted by the ghost of the Goatman. The story goes that a black goat farmer named Oscar Washburn, who was renowned for quality meat, milk, and cheeses, moved with his family just north of this bridge. Except when he arrived in the area, he was instantly the target of racial hate crimes. The racist townfolk came together and burned down the farm with the family inside. Then they threw Oscar's body over that very bridge. Now he appears as a half-goat, half-man humanoid that reeks of decaying flesh. If you knock on the bridge 3 times, it's said that you can summon the Goatman, but now others use this area for rituals and other supernatural activities. Number 5. Lady of White Rock Lake. The lake is located in Dallas, Texas, and many visitors claim that they spot a drenched young woman who either appears crawling out of the water or asking to catch a ride. When many offer her a ride, she disappears out of thin air and leaves a bloody, wet seat and a terrified driver. Even though many of the drivers were scared to their core, some decided to go to the address given to them by the girl. When they arrive at the door, they all meet the same man who tells them that his daughter had gone sailing and never came back. Many believe the story is inspired by the 1953 book Naaman Marcus, Texas, the story of the proud Dallas store. According to the book, Malloy and his wife are driving home late one night in East Dallas when a beautiful blonde girl ghost appears on the road. Her elegant dress from Naaman's naturally is wet, and she seems to be in trouble. She gives them an address on Gaston Avenue and asks to be taken home, but as they drive, she disappears, leaving only a mark. Number 4. Lake Worth Monster. You just learned about the Goatman, right? Well, this is known as the Goatman of the lake. This monster terrorized the people of the town for years, with many describing the creature as being 7 feet tall, around 300 pounds, long-necked, flop-eared, pot-bellied, and covered in white scales and hair. This beast was inspired by Sally Ann Clark's book, The Lake Worth Monster of Greer Island, Fort Worth, Texas. In the book, the monster jumped on the hood of someone's car and shook up the car so badly that they got caught in a bad accident. The people described it as a 7-foot tall being covered in scales and fur and resembled a half goat, half man. Pretty scary if you ask me. Number 3. Donkey Lady. The Donkey Lady of San Antonio, Texas dates all the way back in the late 1800s. The Donkey Lady was once a beautiful woman with offspring and a husband, but one day in a rage, the husband burned down the house with their offspring and wife still inside. The offspring passed away, however the wife managed to survive but suffered greatly. Her toes and fingers would be fused together in a hoof-like way, and her face was melted and sagging, inspiring the Donkey Lady name. There is a bridge in South San Antonio named the Old Applewhite Bridge, or Donkey Lady Bridge, and this is the bridge she went to cry on after the horrible tragedy. Now it's said that if you go to the bridge after midnight and call out the Donkey Lady, she will appear just before you. Some have claimed she runs at the people who call out her name, or sometimes just stalks in the forest line waiting for the perfect opportunity to strike. Number 2. The Girl Who Danced with the Devil. The story takes place in the 1970s in San Antonio, Texas, with a young Mexican girl named Rosa. One day, the girl wanted to attend a dance at a nearby nightclub named El Cameroncito. However, the parents were very strict and didn't want her anywhere near the nightclub. Despite their orders, she snuck out of the house and traveled all the way to the nightclub where she could have her dance. At the club, Rosa was approached by this very tall, charming, and well-dressed man who asked her permission to dance. But when they began dancing, Rosa was terrified when she discovered he had goat hooves instead of feet. When she screamed in terror, people in the club started to chase him out as they got close. He vanished out of thin air, leaving a trail of smoke and the smell of sulfur. I smell devil activity. Number 1. El Muerto. El Muerto, otherwise known as the Headless Horseman of Texas, is a Texas legend that dates back to the mid-1800s. The story goes that 2 rangers, Creed Taylor and William Bigfoot Wallace, were hunting a criminal known as Vidal along the Mexican border. Vidal had been wreaking havoc all across the state of Texas, so when the ranger caught them, they wanted to set an example. So they did just that and cut his head right off. They then tied his head to his saddle and sent his horse with his headless body running off into the night. Thanks for watching. Those were 10 scary Texas urban legends that will terrify you. Leave a like and comment if you think we missed anything, and we hope you have a scary day.